Submit your national identification numbers now to link your subscribers' identification module, simply called SIM, or face sanctions, says Communications Minister. Hello and welcome to the Patriot on Television Nigerian, a special program designed to promote national pride, love, and devotion of one's country, which brings the sense of attachment that intensifies unity and allegiance. Welcome on board. I am Peggy Shandi.
Abuja. Giving a directive that all SIM cards be linked to a national identification number, and the deadline for this exercise has been extended to 9th of February 2021. I'm on the streets of Abuja to know if Nigerians are actually complying to this directive. Let's find out.
If I have a BVN, you told me that I should do a BVN because that would connect all of my accounts and I can be easily traced. Why are you telling me to do national identity number? It doesn't make any sense. They just want to stress us. I personally had done my NIN like 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, a long time ago. I have linked my line, but honestly, I have colleagues that we work together and they are not finding it funny. The queue, then there is COVID. You are saying people should not be gathering, then you still tell people to go and register. What do you want people to do? Because if you block my line, then I don't see that. I honestly don't see that happening. Block which line? In this Nigeria, should be the telecommunications providers will agree. They will lose money because if you block their customers, who will recharge? Who will do data? Let's leave, Joe. This Nigeria, all of us outside this country, they will not block anything.
It's a good move because the NIN is linked with NIMC, your national identification whatsoever. So it has all your information. Basically, I think is to help the government battle fraudulent activities in the country, like all this 419, all this fake transfer, kidnappers and all these things. They will use number and call you. They will know all those fraudulent transactions with phone numbers. So at least any number that has link with BVN, with NIN, with NIMC, once that number, it can easily be trackable. I don't know if you are getting me, but the problem is not just the arrangement and the time period is too short. And the pressure in which they are putting on people is too high. Now, what about people in the village? Like my grandmother, she's in the village. She had phone, we communicate with her. Though we can easily do that for her. We register the number, we can add the NIN, with our NIMC. But now, these guys are also very smart. When they notice age people in the village, when you are using MTN, you may not know when they will take your phone and put it on another MTN card. You can see that you can no more register line. They will just put SIM. So the age one will be like, why they are not calling me? What happened? She may not know that they have stolen her SIM and put it into their own phone. And they will start using it for I'm giving for instance, what I'm saying is for our security agencies also work in this regard. So when they are not doing it, would you now go and catch an elderly woman? Or if you now go and see my own information that I register it and you come and check on me, you see that. So these are other areas which they need to work on to see how it will be like. So the time period is too short, the pressure is too high, and also the application itself, they should make effort. Like me, I downloaded the NIMC apps. I went to the area which I need to include my number, you understand. I'm having so much difficulties in it. Now the number I've added, I have 2 or 3 numbers. If you try to check on the ones you have added successfully, you just see 0. So I don't even know where I am. I don't know if I've successfully registered my life. I don't know if I've, so I don't know.
You can't really say if it's a good move or not, because really I don't know why they are linking phone numbers too, national ID card. Sure, but maybe for security reasons, try and get it so that their SIM cards will not be blocked.
Not people that have done it is just small more than people that have not done. So I don't think it's a good move. I think they should link it up like something like BVN or stuff like that instead of national identity card.
But have you done yours?
Yeah, I've done mine.
How was the process?
The process was easy. Yeah.
Okay.
It was quite
So
easy.
do you advise the government to still extend it because they've extended it to 9th of February? Do you feel they should still extend it more?
Yeah, they should extend it more because people that are in remote areas, they can't really get access to the national identity card stuff and to do it. So I think they should extend it so that they'll have time and everything.
Concerning the national identification registration, I've done mine and it was successful using the short code and my NI registration, the number, right? So to me, it depends on the motive that is behind, which most people don't know. But if it's a good thing for Nigerians, I think it's a good move for us to collectively, try to register this thing and make the plan successful.
We don't know the reason why they ask us to take the number. We have the number right from when they start registering the number. I don't really know, so I can't tell anything about it, but I have the number.
But have you linked your own NIN with your SIM card?
Yes, I've done that.
And when was that?
That was this month.
It's a good move, but at the same time there is risk in it because you have to link this thing with your SIM card and your BVN. So first time you use this to take away your money from your bank. That is if you are not careful. But this is a good move because of the security situation in Nigeria here.
So what do you advise the government now that they've extended the deadline to 9th of February 2021?
My advice to the government is that now that they have made it compulsory for individuals to register or to link their NIN with their SIM cards and their bank verification number, they should be able to protect the citizens, their information, their privacy, especially their bank account, so that they will not lose their money to fraudsters.
Plenty people have not gotten their NIN and they are crying that they have not done it, and it's a welcome idea that government has shifted it to 9th of February. But I will still advise government to shift it, let me say, to September this year, so that everybody will get the national identification number.
Government say you should do the ID card things and it's good for all as based on security. I think it's okay. We should try it. Yeah, I think we should do it. Everybody should queue up, get his ID card, a national ID card, and link. Yeah. It's a good move. It's a good move. Security-wise, it's good.
You've heard what Nigerians have said regarding the national identification number, saying that the move from the federal government was a good one. We therefore appeal to Nigerians to ensure that they link their SIM card with their national identification number before 9th of February 2021.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us again. Following the earlier directive of the suspension of new SIM registration by network operators, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, convened an urgent meeting of key stakeholders in the communications industry on Monday, last year, December 14th, 2020. The meeting had in attendance the Chief Executive Officers and Management of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, as well as the CEOs and management staff of all service providers in the industry. At the meeting, the need to consolidate achievements of SIM registration, audit, and improve the performance and sanity of the sector was exhaustively discussed, and all stakeholders agreed that urgent and drastic measures have now become inevitable to improve the integrity and transparency of the SIM registration process to curb crime and monitor security concerns in the country. To this end, the following decisions were taken with immediate implementation by all network operators. 1. Affirmation of the earlier directive to totally suspend registration of new SIMs by all operators. 2, operators to require all their subscribers to provide valid national identification number NIN to update SIM registration records. 3, the submission of NIN by subscribers to take place within a period which has now been extended till February 2021. 4, after the deadline, all SIMs without NINs are to be blocked henceforth from their network providers. 5, a ministerial task force comprising the minister and all the CEOs, among others, as members, is to monitor compliance by all networks. 6, violations of this directive will be met by stiff sanctions, including the possibility of withdrawal of operating license. This is our focus today on this episode of the Patriot and Television Nigerian. And with me in the studio is CSP James Van der Van, retired, a cracker jack security consultant. CSP James, please welcome to the Patriot. Let's get talking, and you're going to blow hot.
Thank you, Mr. Shan, and Happy New Year to you.
Same to you. Happy New Year. It's good to see you. Very hot and blowing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's get talking straight to the point. I do not know what is the connotation between SIMs and national identification. What has got to do with SIMs and national identification numbers in the first place now?
Yeah, thank you so much. If you look at the background story you just read out, you will discover that the intention was to contain the challenges of security in the country. And national identification numbers are supposed to give a particular identity of those who used it, including their residential addresses and then the fingerprints. Now, when you link that to your SIM hitherto were not done with this kind of critical analysis that has been just brought on board now. You will just walk to any of these boards by the roadside and then they take your photograph, they do your fingerprint, whether it's captured properly or not, whether your face is fine or not, they pick your SIM and go away. And they didn't verify, they don't normally verify the addresses that you supply to be sure whether it was genuine or not. But with this synchronization now, it's going to give you a comprehensive database of people who are holding SIMs that are linked to the national identification numbers, to be sure that whoever is making a call, and if there's any issue that you want to investigate, you are sure who you are looking at. So there will be no issue of you saying that your SIM fell somewhere and someone picked it and make a call, or you who is arrested, you are not the person that registered the SIM card. Because once you synchronize it, it becomes your property, becomes your identity, becomes your gadget to carry on with you.
Oh, CSP James, that's beautiful. You sounded like there has been quite a number of challenges, you know, with relation to SIM usage in this country.
Yeah, there have been a lot of monumental challenges, because if you look at the insurgency in the north, you discover that most of them use multiple SIM cards, and they are not linked to any name, no address. So it becomes very difficult for you to really locate where they call from and who is using which SIM card. Now, most of them will use and dump the SIM cards, and then they will go back to such SIM cards maybe after 3-4 months again. So even if you want to track it, it becomes difficult for you to now do that. But by the time you have multiple SIM cards that are linked to one NIN number, it becomes easier for you to track any of them. And once you pick, it means you are sure you are reaching at one person using the multiple SIM cards. So it is easy for you. Secondly, if you look at the fraudsters that sweep on banks and banks accounts, they employ the same tactics. They use multiple SIM cards to call their victims. And they send you different text messages, they send different emails that are also rejected from some of the telephones they use. Now, once you are able to pick one, you will discover that if it is not registered, it's difficult for you to now get to that SIM card that the person is using. But once you pick someone with a registered SIM card that is linked to the NIN, it becomes easier for you not to investigate, because technically you have finished the investigation, because there's no way you can deny that you supply your SIM card that is synchronized to your ATM number or to your service provider number, that you can come tomorrow and start denying that it's not your, because you have fingerprints that are taken at the point of registering your own SIM card. You have fingerprints that are taken at the point of also registering for your national ID card. So once you match the two, you discover that the same fingerprints can play out, so there's no way you can start denying that these things are not your own. So it's a very noble thing that the minister brought to reduce this kind of anonymous calls and then text messages that you can receive without really tracking and knowing who exactly is behind them. So it's a very good thing.
You worked as a commander of SARS,
Yeah.
retrieving back phones stolen by bandits and
Yes.
boys of the underworld. So part of the challenges that you faced while you were the SARS commander, dealing with car theft and stuff, do you think this exercise is also going to help a lot to deal with those who have been stealing phones too?
Yeah, it's really going to help in security challenges that we've been having around in terms of theft of phones and theft of cars also. Since the Federal Road Safety also has queued into the project, that as from the second quarter of this year, any other person going to register your vehicle, you must present most of this information that is required. And once that is done, and then you go into the central database, and you discover that the person coming to register a car is not the owner of the car, or is not the owner of the name that is also bringing. It makes it easy for you now to dictate those who are stealing cars. And that will discourage a lot of people to steal cars now, because to register them will become very difficult. Now, if you extend this to also the theft of handsets, once you insert a SIM card and you are arrested, there's no way you can deny that the SIM card you are using inside the stolen handset is not your own, because already you are given the double data information, you have the national identity information, and you have your SIM information. Most of them are also, as I said earlier, they have their fingerprints, they have your faces there. Now, if you look at what is happening today, almost everybody is growing beards, just like you also. Now, some people might have registered their SIMs when they don't have beards. And now they have registered a national ID card when they have beards now. So for you to eliminate that, it's a question of getting the physical suspect behind the bar and then you scrutinize most of these things and see whether the person who has a beard now the same person that has the same BVN number, the same SIM number, the same ATM number, the same SIM card number. So it's going to give some certain challenges in terms of physical identification, but I'm sure they can get around it and know those who are really supposed to be arrested will be arrested, no matter how you conceal your physical looks.
You are always talking about arresting people. That's all right, because you are CSP. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Please don't arrest me.
You won't at all.
Thank you very much. All right, so, but I want to ask you, how important is this exercise to national security?
Well, it's very important because we have a lot of insurgency going on in the Northeast and then some other parts of the country today. And most of those who are coming in, some of them are bandits that are coming in from other foreign countries or neighboring countries here. Now, when you arrest, you'll be able to, it's easier for you to profile now who is a Nigerian and who is not a Nigerian. And then secondly, if you are not a Nigerian, you are found with a national identity number. It also makes it easy for government now to trace and find out who is sabotaging these efforts and duplicating our national identity, national access to other countries. So it's going to help a lot in terms of national security challenges that we're having. And it shouldn't just stop at this. I think at the end of the day, it should be a restriction that nobody uses more than a 4 SIM card, because we have 4 service providers today. So when that is done, it's going to be easy. And then even those who are using emails, I think it's better once you create your email, this thing should be part of what you are going to attach as your personal email, so that if an email is assumed, is discovered to be fake, it will be easy for us to know those who are using the same fake email to get out to government and cause certain things. Such as sabotaging communications.
Yes.
It was experienced from some time back now. So SIM card registration is very central to the security of this country. I think it's a laudable idea that has been brought. The question is just the timing. Now that we're afraid of COVID, and then you brought out this kind of a thing. For people in the villages, it's going to be difficult for them to get access to where you can register. If you look at what happens in Benue and Zakibia, for instance, you are saying there should be no movement on Okada. Most people are coming from far away villages that have no vehicles, no cars, no buses to come except Okada. So it's not going really to yield to the total result that government is anticipating. So I will told the line of a young man from the narration when they went on the street, your channel went on the street to interview them, that was suggesting that they should extend the deadline for this. So if you want a comprehensive coverage of what you want to achieve, I think the deadline should be extended. When you look at the attitude of Nigerians, we always want to rush when the deadline is approaching. So if you extend it too long, you are not going to get a needed result. So since the security issue, I think 1 month extension is not too bad to allow the total coverage of the country.
So are you telling me that the government is convinced using this exercise, to curb very particular debilitating cases of crime like kidnapping and internet fraud? I mean, you think that the government at this time, because we have heard, we've had communications ministers in the past, but this type of program and exercise has never been.
Well, when you look at people who are professionals in their field and you place them in right places, you are going to get policies of this nature that can support the yearnings of the people and then the mindset of the government. I've not met a minister, I don't know him, but at least I read his profile when this thing came out, and I discovered that he did his PhD overseas. And certainly he also might have compared notes with his counterparts in other countries, and that is why he brought out this idea. So it's a very noble idea. And when you look at the caliber of people that sat on the round table that you were reading out, you discover that there were about 3 ministers there, and then you have a lot of chief executives of the service providers. So if they were feeling this was going to be anti-economic gains of the nation, I think they would have raised that issue. But I think it's not going to dwindle the fortunes of the service provider. It's rather going to assist them also, because it's going to be hard for you to start having an inactive SIM now. You have a lot of SIM cards that are dormant. People are not using them. But with this exercise today, you discover that most people will no longer touch those kind of things they were using for heinous crimes. So for me, it was a noble idea that the minister brought up, and I think it was something that is going to help the system very well.
The system in terms of security too.
Yes, yeah.
I was going to ask you what the government actually intended, why he brought this exercise in the first place. Is anything the government intending to do, or wants to achieve, putting deadlines to this? You have brought the policy. You have just said here that one of the guys on the street reported that this is a noble project, and time must be extended. So what is the essence of the government wanting to achieve something, on the other hand, also trying to put deadlines? I don't understand.
Well, you don't just leave a loose-end policy to people where it involves a large and then the whole country. Now, if you don't have a time frame put on this for you to seize this, you may not achieve the desired objectives, because some people who are criminals will still continue to explore that loophole that you have created. Now, but when you put a time band and when you can get this thing done, it means, one, government is looking at holistically not having a database of SIM users and then of those who have the valid national ID card. It's a very noble objective. Now, tomorrow, when you also want to start the national population census, and at the point you finish, you'll be able to compare the figure you have with the national population census, what you have, so you can eliminate those who are still younger, that never had the official having their phones or SIM cards registered. Now you will be able to have an idea of the growing population you have that is more dependent on government in terms of consumption than those who are also productive population in the system. Now, when you also want to relate this to the banking sector, it is easy for anybody now who has a phone number attached to his own bank account to be tracked, because if you commit any fraud and they're able to get to your bank account, it's a question of also getting back to the national identity management to also give you the information of the person using that particular phone. And it gives you the SIM number of that person, it gives you the national identity number of that person. And when you compare the two and you discover that this is the person you are looking for, then you are closer to
all that they are trying to achieve is to look for that person.
Oh, yes.
To identify people.
Identify
now, what if the case was that you were supposed to have BVN numbers to be linked with the SIMs rather than NIN? What do you think the case would have been?
It doesn't solve much of security challenges, because not everybody that has a bank account. So when you are insisting that everybody should link it to BVN and the SIM to BVN number, in the villages, I think half of the population in the village doesn't have bank accounts. So the universal coverage you want to get within your country is not going to be achievable, because so many people doesn't operate bank accounts. They rather see them doing kind of trips in the communities, and other 10 people could not choose to have a cooperative and put money in one cooperative account. So with that, you can't get the number of people that have their SIM registered, their NIN registered in their bank accounts. So this is the most important way, because this one, they say everybody must have a national identity number. Now, if everybody is going to have a national identity number, it means it is easy for you now to know those who have SIM cards within the country and those who don't have. So by the time you compare those who have national identity number, but are not linked to a particular phone number and are not complaining, means you have people who are still not yet operating phone numbers. And that's also going to help the service providers, because they will now know that in particular locations they have less people who are linking their NIN to the SIM cards. So
it's going to be a business.
Yeah,
it's a business opportunity for them to strike.
You see them mobilizing towards these areas and now increase their presence and their visibility. So I think it's also good for them. They know that is going to help them know their strategy and know where they are defective in terms of service provision.
Wow, that's a very good insight. Talking with you has always given me a lot of insights and stuff. But you mentioned the fact here that, you know, everybody's supposed to have a SIM, but something is there. You know, you must be 18 years to be able to have a NIN.
I said everybody must have a
No, but sometimes, you know, the federal government announced that you have to take a national exam, JAM or WAEC or NECO, you must get a NIN. And that means that for those who take JAM or who run exams and finish school, secondary school at the age of 16 and experiment on JAM, you know, at 16, a little less than 18. What are you going to think that is going to happen to this linking stuff? If they have phones.
Yes,
they have phones, they have SIM, so how do you link the
They do. The law says that at 18 you are an adult. Below 18 you are still a child. Now, it is incumbent on people who are registering you, because you are not supposed to register anybody below 18 except you use the information of the parents as part of a guarantee that this person is your child. And then you present your ID card. So your ID card is going to be used as security for registering that your own child that is under 18. So it is still not out of tune. You can still get a child who is even 15 that has a NIN number. My son is above 16, but he has a NIN number because I needed to get him into that. And I used my own identity now to guarantee this is my son, this is my own identity. So the cross-check and then was registered, and then the fingerprints were captured. So it is not wrong for a child to have his own identity also.
Wow, that's good.
Most of them will still have it.
Nigerians are listening to you very keenly.
Thank you.
As a security expert, top-notch for that matter, you know the law.
Well,
yeah, you know a lot of law,
I know a little about the law because I'm not a lawyer.
Well, you're not a lawyer, but you know the codes and stuff, so right?
Well, I know the operational guides.
You know the operational guides, all right, I know. If you said that this exercise has come timely to check population and census and stuff, but you haven't mentioned if it's going to be checking illegal immigrants.
Yes, I have said that here, that one key area now is that once this exercise is done, you should be able now to know any suspect arrested that is not a Nigerian, that is using our national identity. So you should be able to find out where he gets it from. So that is going to assist government also eliminating those who are racketeering these national identity numbers. So it's going to help a lot in checkmating those who come into the country illegally and those who are Nigerian also. You can't just start claiming later that you are Nigerian. One area that I'm not too comfortable with the identity management is because of putting the expiry date on the cars. Because I don't see why, after going through all this stress and hurdles of putting the card, then you put time for it to expire 5 years. It's not a driver's license. It's a thing that should be attached to you.
Is it free or is it going to be paid?
No, they say it's going to expire after 5 years, and after 5 years you go and renew it and get the card again.
Then you have to pay.
So, well, it is not payable for now. Everything about them is free. But for you to put the expiry date on an identity card, for me, I think it's not too good. It's not a healthy thing, because once you have a national identity number, it's going to stay with you. And that will make a lot of people now to hold on to the printout slip instead of going to queue up and look for the...
It's going to be stressed all over again after 5 years.
Yeah, so
maybe it would have been expired, maybe the looks would have been, it would have been the wear and tear of use. That's why they thought that, okay, after 5 years you should renew.
Well, you have so many countries that have done their national identity cards. So we would have taken a look at it to get those who did the permanent one and get that kind of technology to do it here. And I think we even have more modern technologies now to give you this kind of things than what other countries have before. So for me, it is our Nigerian way of trying to ensure that we are still in business.
Final word in terms of including also the diplomats who also will have a national identification number.
No, they are not supposed to have, because they are not Nigerians. Diplomats who are resident in Nigeria are not Nigerians, so they are not supposed to have our national identity cards.
So why are they including them? That's what the minister said.
Well, they are including them because they have their own national identity from their own countries, and they're using our Nigerian SIMs here. So they can impute their own national ID cards, not our own.
No, maybe in the interim while they're saying here.
Well, when you are here, you are not a Nigerian.
They're using the Nigerian SIM.
Yes, you are using our SIM, but you have your national ID card of your country. So
is it going to be dual?
It's not going to be dual because I know the portal will be designed in such a way that diplomats will have their own column quite separate from the Nigerians, so that you can know that this person, this is the status is in the country.
Yes.
Because we're going to supply them with certain basic information.
Yes.
So I don't think it's proper for a diplomat who is not a Nigerian to have our nationality because so many countries don't guarantee you having dual citizenship. So if you have a national identity card and you have another one in another country, you are violating that law as a diplomat. So I think most of them are careful in not having it.
When we go there, do they give us identification?
Well, if Nigeria allows a dual country, so you can take your own identity if you are their own citizen there.
Well, thank you very much, CSP James. It's been wonderful talking with you.
You're welcome.
Yes, so we're going to call you again another beautiful time to tell us more.
No problem.
That's beautiful. All right. We have been talking to CSP James Badafan, and you've heard from him how he has blown hot on the national identification number and the linkages of the SIM in Nigeria, deadlines and all that. We have just heard the relationship, the correlation between the NIN and the SIMs now, rather than preferring to use BVN and other stuff. This is where we wrap it up on this episode of The Patriot. I want you to know that you will sponsor programs on The Patriot and Television Nigerian, and you will like and share our programs on our platforms. I have been Peggy Shandy, your regular host, and many thanks for watching.